We are moving into chapter 6, and I am sitting in a very beautiful location just under the bell tower. We have a new chime above us, and I don't know if the wind will pick up or not, but you may hear it. It's very, very beautiful. I wanted to read from Aja Khan, and he makes a really beautiful statement as a teaching tool to his followers or his disciples. And when I read from Aja Khan, I feel very connected because there's a hermitage just down the road, and we feel and we are connected. They teach on Thursdays, and I teach on Mondays, and so we come to each other's, or we send people to each other's classes. But Aja Khan writes, "The most important point is that while we have life, we shall train the mind to be even in regard to things. We should be able to share wealth and possessions. When the time comes, we should give a portion of those in need, just as we were giving things to our children. Sharing things like this, we will feel happy. And if we can give away all our wealth, then whenever our breath may stop, there will be no attachment or anxiety because everything is gone. The Buddha taught to die before you die, to be finished with things before they are finished. Then you can be at ease. Let things break before they are broken. Excuse me. Let them finish before they are finished. This is the Buddha's intention in teaching the Dharma." So this is very beautiful. To die before you die. It's a very interesting concept, and one that we train to do. There we go. I want to read the Aja Khan one more time, just so you can actually let it settle on your mind. And because I was reading without the recorder on, it makes it even more important. So, here we go. The most important point is that while we have life, we should train the mind to be even in regards to things. We should be able to share wealth and possessions. And when the time comes, we should give a portion to those in need, just as if we were giving things to our own children. Sharing things like this, we will feel happy. And if we can give away all our wealth, then whenever our breath may stop, there will be no attachment or anxiety because everything is gone. The Buddha taught to die before you die, to be finished with things before they are finished. Then you can be at ease. Let things break before they are broken. Let them finish before they are finished. This is the Buddha's intention in teaching the Dharma. To be free. To be liberated. Sangyal Rinpoche wrote a quote where he quotes Ford, and as he quotes Henry Ford, we can be reminded that Henry Ford was the person who was instrumental in making mass production and producing cars, but also in the assembly line type work. Whether or not that is something that made us a better nation or not, that is really up to your own discretion. But he certainly had a mind to think beyond the box. And in there, the quote is that at the age of 26, he found and was introduced to the concept of reincarnation. And he adopted that theory. So, work is futile, he says, if we cannot utilize the experience we collect in one life in the next. When I discovered reincarnation, time was no longer limited. I was no longer a slave to the hands of the clock. I would like to communicate to others the calmness that the long view of life gives to us. It's very beautiful. Freedom from limited mind. This is what the Buddha taught the Dharma for, freedom from limited mind. There are many proofs, so to speak, in the writings of this chapter of reincarnation. And it's interesting how often people really have struggled with reincarnation because they cannot remember their past life. And although this seems like a concrete evidence, it's quite iffy when you think about it. We are unable often to remember last year, or even last week for that matter. So how would we think that we would remember our past lives? If our mind becomes clear, like the Buddha saw every life he was in, not just the life as he died, but every life that he had been in his awakening. He was able to see what parts he played, and he was able to see all the different actions that he incurred. Very, very interesting to think of that, to be reminded that at the time of death, all of our life will pass before us. And if we are not at peace with any of those parts of our life, we may have fear. We will not have fear if we understand that karma, actions, are something that we can do something about. Our karmic connection to our actions, what we're doing and experiencing now, is the result of our actions in our prior life. And so as I'm sitting here in this abundance, in this beautiful place, really experiencing that I have everything I need, and I don't have to be in charge. I am able to chip in, to work, to lend a hand. I can sit in solitary retreat. I have so much available to me. How could it be possible that I could create that? And I don't take it for granted. Every day I think, and I live here. Deep gratitude. So if we think about the proof of reincarnation as we don't remember, this is not a very stable evidence. But on the other hand, if we were to use our day-to-day life and start to think of our mind as a continuum, then we start to realize that it's more likely that we've had reincarnation, because everything arises, it abides, and then it dissolves. Why would we be different? Why would we not arise, abide, and dissolve just to arise, abide, and dissolve? It's a circle, a continuum of mind. And what we take with us in our mind stream, in the store consciousness, are all the actions that we've engaged in, moment by moment. And another way to look at it that might even be easier, or at least for me it was easier, what harm would it be to live your life as if you believe in reincarnation? To believe that all of your actions and your experiences in this life will be experienced again in your next life. That there is that continuum, that you're not limited like Henry Ford, by the hands of the clock. So not believing, people have very futile actions. What the heck? I'm alive, I die, that's it. And so you can engage in any actions you want to. But if you were to think that your actions will follow you, the result of those actions will follow you, you will engage in actions that are aligned with the goals that you want to experience. So I wish to experience my full potential. And if I want to experience that, if I engage in the actions that are bringing that to fruition, then in the future, I may experience my full potential, if not in this life. So we're going to do a little meditation right here in the middle of the teaching. And our intention is to open our mind, is to have a longer view, like Henry Ford. We often say a broader view. So please set your intention. Take a deep breath in and hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath in and hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath in and hold it. Let it out slowly. Feel rooted and connected. Let the weight of your body be felt on your cushion or chair. Bring your spine upright. Imagine there's a string to the top of your head, letting your neck and your head reach upward, and then relax. Relaxing the brow and the face. Letting that flow into the neck and shoulders, allowing your shoulders to fall ever so gently. Breathing naturally. Just see if you can be aware of the in-breath, the pause, and the out-breath for a count of 7. Aware of the in-breath, aware of the out-breath, relaxed and aware. Breathing naturally, I'd like you to bring to mind someone whom you love easily. Let that image be clear in your mind. And then allow that loving feeling to fill the whole of your body as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, be willing to share that warmth, that love. Breathing naturally, breathing in the warmth of that love you have, filling your body, breathing out, sharing. Go ahead and let that image dissolve slowly back into your mind stream. And then go ahead and bring to mind a second image of someone you love easily. Letting that image be clear. Feeling the warmth of that love you have, breathing it in and breathing it out, sharing. Really let that love fill you. And let that love be shared. Breathing naturally. Once again, feel the weight of your body on your cushion or chair. Feel rooted and connected, embodied, relaxed and aware. Begin to let go of your concentration, keeping your gaze low. Just notice how your body is in this moment. And when you're ready, taking in the whole of the room that surrounds you. It was very nice. This meditation is evidence that our memory, our past, can be brought to mind in the present, and we can experience the result of the past by bringing to mind the past in the present. It's a very beautiful example. So I'd like you to think about that later, and I'm going to go ahead and finish this teaching. So in our life, many times, we recreate our past in the present. The family of origin is one really good example, very good example. I was working with a woman who will be the organizer for a day of mindfulness in Portland, and as we were working together, she was explaining to me of her activist type work, and she was telling me what she does, and that she really cannot stand to witness the many different things that are happening to the people she loved. She can't stand to just sit and watch as health care is taken away, or as people are oppressed because they're not from this country. So many different things she brought to mind, and I asked her if her work brought her joy. And she stopped and she sort of thought about it, and she said, actually, I'm so tired. And just let that be for a while. I asked her to see where she could find the tired feeling in her body. Was it in her stomach? Was it in her chest, her neck, her throat? Did she have headaches or upset stomach? Was her shoulders tight? Was her back sore? So she thought about it, and she could find the place that this exhaustion was lodged. And then I told her a story about my friend named Pat. And I think I've told this story on one of the teachings before this, but I'll tell it again. Pat had it with people. He was a lawyer, and he was peopled out. And so he decided to be a hermit in the woods, to live without contact with people. And he had one sled dog. And over a period of 6 years, I think, people brought him sled dogs that were aggressive, that were too aggressive, or in some way were not harmonious with the team. He ended up with 5 sled dogs, being a hermit in the woods. And it occurred to him over the years that these 5 sled dogs, he recreated his whole family of origin, his mother, his father, his sister, and brothers. So it was interesting. When he told the story, I was like, wow, that's true. We recreate our family of origin to heal in any way that has got us stuck inside. And as I was telling that story, this woman was just brought to tears, and she's like, oh, she goes, that is it. I can't bear to witness is my family of origin work, and I'm being triggered with the urgency that's not actually necessary, an urgency that I felt back in my family of origin, but now this urgency blocks me from a more broad view, a loving view. It's wonderful work that she did. And so she was able to see how she recreates her work. And I think it's just worthwhile thinking about. I told her about some training I was about to engage in, and it was called bystander intervention. And I told her she might be interested in it, how to intervene in things with a loving and caring heart without limiting ourselves. So as we practice, we begin to learn the many things about our mind. We can see how our mind is a continuum. This is the greatest evidence of reincarnation, that our mind is a continuum. We are not the same 5-year-old we were. When we were 5 and we had a little tantrum, thank goodness. These actions arise, abide, and dissolve, that we don't carry it with us. We're not stuck with who we are at 5. We're different moment by moment. So we're going to end there. And thank you so much. We dedicate what we have done today for others. May others also begin to experience limitlessness of mind, not to have their mind limited, not only by time, but by the many constraints that we put on our mind. We dedicate our work for others. Thank you.